So from my experience, most deals don't die during a meeting or during a demo, they die in the follow-up. And the reason is you send your proposal in one email thread, you send another email with a bunch of links to your website, and you send a third email asking them what they want to evaluate and what next steps look like. So what ends up happening is you have all this information sprawled across multiple emails. Now, one of the most common ways to solve for this information sprawl is to build a digital sales room. This digital sales room is a single microsite between your company and your customer, where you consolidate all the customer meetings that you've had together, all the information they need to make an informed buying decision, and then a roadmap of the next steps that you and the customer need to take in order for them to close the deal, become an official customer, and then use your product or service in production. Now, there's a lot of digital sales room softwares out there, but today I want to show you how you can use Lovable to be able to create your own customized digital sales room that you can use across all your different deals to be able to, one, save money, but also to improve your win rates. All right, let's start building this digital sales room out in Lovable. So I'm on the Lovable website right now. You've got this little chat window. This is where you start your initial prompt for any new project or application. The first two things I always recommend you do is this first prompt needs to have as much context as you can provide it on what you're trying to build. So Lovable starts your project off on the right foot. So what I recommend doing here is actually using another AI model like Claude or ChatGPT to help you refine a prompt so you're building exactly what you want and you're giving as much information to Lovable as possible. So I highly recommend you Meta Prompt is what it's called, another AI model to build the prompt for Lovable. The second thing is always start in plan mode versus build mode. Plan mode, Lovable asks you some clarifying questions, builds a plan that you can review and approve. So it's building exactly what you want it to build, and you can help amend that plan in its thought process. So these are the two things I recommend as you start a new project using Lovable. Now, I've been using Claude to actually help me write a prompt for this digital sales room. So I'm going to paste the prompt here, and I'm going to include all the prompts that I'm going to use today in the description below. So you can use this if you want to create this exact same digital sales room. So let's actually review the prompt. It's, build a digital sales room, single page web app that a B2B sales rep can share privately with one buyer community. This is one shareable microsite for a single deal. The reason I have it is two reasons why I have this for only one deal. One, Auth and the ability for you to share this with a customer is much easier when you can do a single tenant application versus a multi-tenant application. And so because of that, I want to make sure this microsite, it's just for one particular deal. The cool part about Lovable is it gives you the ability to remix projects. So in the future, let's say, I want to have this exact same microsite for a different deal. I can just remix this project and then just change the customer logo and the brand guidelines and some of the content. And then I can use that for that other deal. So it's not super complicated. So I'm going to keep this microsite and digital sales room specifically for one particular deal. And then I go over, call out all the brand and style guidelines. I'm using a fictitious company called, Northwind Software. And then here is the actual sections for the microsite itself. There's a welcome page, mutual action plan, proposal, pricing, case studies, resources, teams and contacts, and then FAQ page. And then it talks about this needs to be mobile first from the get-go. So if we scroll down, I'm going to kick off this prompt in plan mode. And then let's see what Lovable starts asking us to make sure we're building the right digital sales room. All right, so this is what Lovable created after our first prompt. It took about 3 minutes, but let's walk through it in the preview. So here, I'll give it my logo so it actually updates this. Northwind is a fake company, so we'll just keep this logo. It's got a navigation window. Let's see if this actually works. Okay, so it does actually go to the right places in the web page. And then, okay, nice. I like the fact that it's got a welcome page. I guess we can embed a video here. Typically, when I've used digital sales rooms, this I actually just keep very simple, where it's just like text, and then has my email address and my phone number. Mutual action plan. Okay, these are just these are static, so we want to make sure we can actually update the status so this little progress bar gets filled. Recommended plan for Northwind. Okay, I mean, this is okay. I think this is a little bit too much, I would say. Typically, when I've used these digital sales rooms, I like to just basically embed the PowerPoint presentation or the proposal as using directly connected to Google Drive. So this would probably be a little bit easier. Pricing is okay, I think. Typically pricing, you know, I'm kind of a mixed bag on this. This is basically just like copy and pasting like website pricing, and this is also incorrect for Acquisales as well. I don't know if I love how this ended up. I might amend this. This is how I prompted it, but now that I'm seeing it, I'm probably not a huge fan. Proof points, this is good. I might just shift this to just 2 cards instead of just these 3. And then documents, I like this if you can actually download something. Okay, obviously there's no docs here, so you can't download anything. Who you're working with, this is good. I like this. And then frequently asked questions. And then at the very bottom, there's, you know, confidential, and then an email. Now, I don't have a Marcus that works for my company, so I'll obviously need to change all the names here. But I think this is a really good starting point with just giving 1 prompt to Lovable. So I'm going to start working on actually editing this in a way where it becomes a little bit more customized and actually useful for me. Now, the first update I want to do is actually update the mutual action plan. So I'm going to go into Lovable and say update the mutual. Okay. So I want to update this so that anyone who has access to the sales room can come and update the status. And then also they can make comments if they're running into any blockers, or even say like, hey, I'm working on this. I need to go, you know, talk to someone else about it. So I want to make sure that 1, people can add comments, and then 2, they can update the status. And when the status gets updated, this ratio up here, the 29% changes. All right, so Lovable did update the status pills, so now we can actually update them. Let's actually see this. Let's see if I put it to not started. Okay, cool. So the ratio does change. Put it in done, and then done. And then there should be one, it looks like this is the free form. So let's say I am waiting on security review. Something like that, I don't know. Let's see if this posts. So, okay, this is how the comments look like. At least it gives a timestamp, which I guess is helpful. I want to probably test this with someone to see if, you know, if they reply, if it gives the name versus just saying you. But yeah, now I think this is cool. Like now the mutual action plan is actually something I can collaborate with a customer on, where they can, one, maybe assign owners might be the next thing. And then, but now we can update the status and make comments. So maybe that's another thing, right? Like, okay, that's actually a really good suggestion from Lovable. So I didn't realize this. Let me actually see if this changes. I'm going to refresh the page, because what Lovable is basically saying is that every time you refresh it, it's going to go back to the initial. Okay, so that is important, that we actually make this to where that this plan status updates actually persist in between sessions. And while we're here, one thing I want to do is include the ability to assign different owners per task, or excuse me, per step in the mutual action plan. Okay, so now what I'm trying to do is make sure that if we do update the status in the comments, it persists. And then 2, I want to be able to give us to be able to assign different owners for each of these different steps. Okay, so now any changes we make to the mutual action plan now write to our backend in Lovable Cloud. So if we need to update the owner to, let's say this is going to be to, you know, Priya, this should persist across sessions. So now that I updated this, let me refresh this page and see if the update persists and it doesn't just, you know, immediately disappear. Oh, let's see how it's loading the plan. Okay, cool. So the actual updates that we do make do persist across different sessions. Nice. So I think the mutual action plan, I'm pretty happy with this now. Okay, so now that our mutual action plan is pretty good, let's start focusing on the next piece, which is the proposal. So typically I like to just embed the Google slide that I use as the proposal versus this, because I think the Google slide is just much easier to edit for me personally. So what I want to say to Lovable is, let's update the proposal section. I want to be able to embed a Google slide into that section using the Lovable Google connector. So Lovable does have a Google connector to where you can bring in documents from Google. I haven't used it yet, but let's see if this actually works. It's super easy to set up. You actually just go in here, go to connectors, and then you can set it up. So let's see if there's a way for us to actually embed this using the Lovable Google connector. So for this, I'm going to do pick from Google Drive versus pasting the slide URL. And then let's submit this. So the difference is if you just paste the URL, someone has to click into the URL and then pull it in a different tab. The option that I selected means that the actual slides are going to be embedded in the web page, and someone can just click the arrow button to be able to switch through the slides, or swift through the slides to be able to read whatever information they want to. All right, so now we're able to actually embed our proposal into the digital sales room itself. So I'm just using a normal test pitch check, but essentially all you need to do is basically have that Google Slides or whatever, and make sure that anyone with a link can view the slides. And then on the digital sales room, anyone that has access to the sales room can actually just click through the slides to be able to see all the different information in the presentation. So I prefer this method versus this. So I'm going to actually ask, can we remove this way? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask this, and then I'm going to take a screenshot of this and then paste the screenshot in here. And then send this, because I really don't think this information is super relevant when we have the entire proposal itself. So I want to have the proposal deck and then no other information after that. Now, while Lovable is focused on removing all this information, let's go through the rest of this. I'm not a huge fan of this, this pricing tier. So what I'm going to say is, let's actually update the pricing. So let's say for the pricing section, remove the multi-card setup, and then, I don't know, let's just put like $5,000 a month. These are all test numbers, $500 a month, 3-month commit. Okay. So essentially what's happening is we want to be able to just have, oh, whoops, where is this? So usually when you build a digital sales room, like the deal has been scoped. So you don't want to show like the pricing that's on the website when you know how big this deal should be. So you want to be very transparent. So I want to make sure this pricing page just has a single card kind of walking through what the proposed pricing is. Okay, and in the meantime, the proposal deck is the only thing here, which is exactly what I wanted to do. And actually, while we're waiting on this, I do want to actually update the proof points. So update section 5 to proof points as the header. Include 2 cards for the following proof points. Okay, so I've got a couple proof points on like case studies essentially on my website that I've made into like actual what is it, like PDFs that I can share. So I want to make sure those are the ones that are represented here versus just a generic like proof points. So Totago. Okay, so I'm going to include this case study, and I'm going to drop in another one. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, here it is. Okay, include 2 cards for the following case studies. So I'm going to have Lovable update this so that these cards get updated. I mean, this kind of stuff is like kind of, I mean, I feel like people gloss over when it's so vague like this. So what I want to do is actually have these proof points real world and then have a structure to them, which is before engagement, how we engaged. So this is like the why, and then the how, and then post engagement, like what actually changed in the business and how do we measure that change. So I gave it 2 PDFs of case studies. So hopefully Lovable is able to kind of parse through those PDFs and then be able to update this piece. An updated slide. Okay, that is actually incorrect. I wanted the slide to show $5,000 per month pricing, so maybe $5,500 down to $5,000. But I think that is a issue on my end because I should have said $5,500. Okay, I'm not a huge fan of how this came out. This is almost too verbose for the proof points. Okay, so I'm gonna have it fix the proof points, and I'm gonna have it fix this pricing page because I just didn't give it a good enough prompt initially. So let's let this ride and then see how the updates look like. All right, now the proof point section is a little bit easier to read, a little bit more verbose than I like, but I think those are just like more fine edits versus, you know, the overall structure of this section. And then the pricing is also updated. So I think these 2 are good to go for now. And then we've got documents for your team and then team you're working with and then FAQs. So I think FAQs is actually an easy one. So update the FAQs. And I actually wrote down some notes on some common FAQs that people have. So I'm going to drop those FAQs in here to these questions and answers. The question is denoted with 1 pound sign, and then the answer is denoted with 2. Okay. So, oops. Okay. So I'm going to update the FAQ page to make sure the right questions and the answers are actually FAQs, not just the random ones that the Lovable came up with. So while it's updating that, let's look at the rest of this. So documents that you can share with your team. So here's a few documents. I'm going to say this. I want the sales rep. So basically this hub is just going to have links to websites and then any documentation that I want to upload. It actually might be easier. No, I think documents are better actually, because sometimes you want to send like a contract or like your terms and conditions. And so it's better to have documents you can upload versus just links, because no one can redline your terms and conditions on the website. Okay, cool. So nice. All right. So FAQ page is good to go. I want the sales rep to be able to upload, and I'm actually make this in plan mode because I don't know if this is going to impact how we do auth. And basically what I'm trying to say is like there's almost like an admin role for the sales rep, and then there's like viewer roles for everyone else that he gives access to. So I'm going to start in plan mode just to see if there's anything we need to change on the auth front. So that's for the resources section. And then the who we're working with, okay. Update all the, okay, let's do sales rep login only. When adding a title, what should the rep provide? Short description. Cool. So basically there's gonna be an admin kind of auth function, and then everyone else is just gonna have viewer access. So let's see what the plan is, and then once the plan is done, this will be queued up after to be able to fix the call to actions. All right, so Lovable ended up building out this auth flow so that we can have like different roles within this digital sales room. So it's asking if I want to set up in the backend UI or make me a sales rep flow. Let's actually do the sales rep flow just in case we want to, well, let's try it this way. So it's as no code as possible in case in the future I want to add other members from my team to have the same level of permissions. I'm going to put this thing back in here just so it's ready to go once this part of the project is done. And then let's actually keep going through this. So we've done the proposal is good, pricing is good, proof points are good. We're still working through the auth here. I think we need to update the team, and then the FAQs are good. And then there's going to be some probably final touches on the welcome section and the header. But after that, I think we should be in a good spot. Actually, one thing I'm just realizing as I'm going through this again is we probably want to update the due dates, because right now we can only update the status, owner, and make comments. So once we do everything, we should also update the due dates for the mutual action plan. All right, so now we've got this auth page that we can actually create an account in. So if we come up here, we can actually switch over to auth. Let's see if this loads anything. Need an account, create one. Okay, this doesn't actually let me create. Oh, here it is. Okay, so now we can create an account. So I'm gonna create an account really quick using my personal email, and I'm gonna write up a password. All right, so I just created my account, and then here on the resources section, now I can upload files, and then I can also include links. So I'm curious if I can just, I don't know, like Acquisales main page, I guess. Let's see if we can try to do this. This is the company website. Let's see how this kind of shows up on the microsite. Let's see if I hit add link. Please fill in URL. Okay, so I'm gonna ask for the official URL. Let me take the whole thing, put it in here. Okay. Cool, and then if we click this, okay, it goes to the URL, and then I'm sure like how it had in the past with like actual uploads and documents, this should also work. So cool, and let's see if we can delete it. Cool, you can also remove the resources. So yeah, nice, this is a good way to like be able to control the documents that I can share with my prospects. Now next thing I wanna update, I'm just gonna update the team really quick. There's a lot of like quick kind of like inline edits that you can do with Lovable. So I'm just gonna change this to my name. So this updates the text here, and also up here as well. I need to update some of this text. So I'm gonna change this to North Wind. I'm gonna hit send, and then so these should be like the main, I think, text edits, just to make this a little bit more like clear on like what this page is about, how to use it. And then here I can just, I guess, update notes. Okay, FAQs look good, the team looks good, proof points look good, pricing looks good, recommended. Oh, one other thing that I did need to change on this for the mutual. Okay, so I'm gonna have Lovable go through and actually make make it to where we can actually update the due dates as well as the steps themselves. And then if we need to add or delete them, we can do that as well. So let's check out the updates to the mutual action plan. So now you can actually go in and update the individual tasks. So let's say like, close deal. Do that, so that updates, and then we can also add a step, which is like, I don't know, like intro to exec. Do that, assign for Sanjay, and then we can also change the date to, I don't know, June 1st. We could say done, make comments, and then we can also delete this. Okay, cool. So now we've been able to actually like really have a mutual action plan that we can use as something that's very collaborative between both parties. Update all the CTA buttons to this calendar link. So let me actually go find the cal link that makes the most sense. Oh, here it is. Okay, so let me try these CTAs. Okay, these buttons go to the right calendar link. This, honestly, I should probably just delete this part. Can you delete? Oh, shoot, I forgot to actually give it the screenshot. Let me stop this for a sec. I'm going to repaste this and then also give a screenshot of what I actually needed to do, which is to remove the Sarah Lynn section. All right, so we've removed Sarah Lynn's card here. So I think what I'm going to try to do here is on this welcome section, I'm going to take a screenshot of this. I'm going to put it in here. I want to be able to embed a YouTube video into this section. The reason is sometimes you can take like an unlisted YouTube video and just embed it here. And then I want to be able to make inline text edits to the a note from Sanjay section. I want to make this in plan mode because this might actually take a little bit more effort from Lovable. So I want to make sure it has a good plan that I can review before it messes with this section. Okay, cool. So I can edit the note. It saves it in the back end. So this is persisting across sessions too. And here, I think I need to upload a URL. So let me go to YouTube and just find a random video to test with. Let's see. This is a Club Shay Shay podcast.
Let me get it.
Okay, cool. So now the videos you can also embed in the actual in the sales room as well. So cool. That works. I'm gonna probably just exit this up. Oh, what's going on? Let me refresh this page. Lovable might have been spazzing out after pulling out a podcast out of nowhere. Okay, let's see. Okay, so the video is saved. So let me get rid of the video and hit save. So the video is now removed. So now it's a blank slate for me to exit or implement. Okay, so let's go from the top down again. Welcome is good, mutual action plan is good, proposal is good, pricing page, proof points, documents, who we're working with. Oh, it didn't actually delete Sarah Lynn. And this section is also good. So let me delete this. Want you to delete this card. Okay, so it's queuing the message to actually delete my in the footer, update the email in the footer. So here we can come to right here on the far right to publish. We can hit continue and then publish to anyone with the URL can access this. Hit continue and then I'm gonna hit publish and see if there's any security vulnerabilities that Lovable surfaces, but I think we should be good. Okay, cool. I think we're good. Now it's going to go through the process to actually publish. Oh, actually, maybe not. Maybe there's a couple of security recommendations. So there's a couple of security recommendations. Let's see, try to fix all and then see what happens. All right, so Lovable finished its security scan and it also fixed all the security vulnerabilities. It had a couple issues with who should do inline edits to the mutual action plan. And then I had one other visual edit where I changed the FAQ section to say frequently asked questions, and I've updated this site. So if you actually pull up the preview, this is ready for me to upload relevant customer information to be able to send to a prospect. So this obviously is a fictitious company, but I can remix this application within Lovable as new opportunities enter my pipeline. I can record a quick YouTube video and paste it here. I can make a quick note here and then build a mutual action plan upload the proposal, show pricing, the proof points, any resources that might be relevant for the prospect, my contact information if they need to get a hold of me, async, and then also any frequently asked questions that they might have. So it's really interesting, and I think the cool part about softwares like Lovable or tools like Lovable is the fact that the last edit I made is at 2:02, so like right now. And if we go all the way to the very top, we started this project at 12:25. So in less than 2 hours, we were able to take an idea and just prompting, be able to create a microsite application that people usually pay for. But now we've created this specifically for our business. So there's a lot of digital sales room softwares out there that you could pay a monthly fee for. But instead of doing that, we were able to actually create this using something like Lovable that we can repurpose across all the different deals that are in our funnel. So I think that's the real power here, is that if you have an idea, you can really just prompt and just continue prompt and fix errors and be able to recreate basic software that can solve real world use cases for your sales team. All right, y'all, that's the video for today. If you found it valuable, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I post weekly about how you can use AI to scale your revenue function. As I mentioned, one of the coolest parts about Lovable is the fact that you can really take an idea into production so quickly. A lot of digital sales room softwares are overkill for what sales teams actually need. And so using something like Lovable, you can really customize exactly what you need for your sales team, both from an experience perspective, but also what they need to be able to solve their real world challenges. If you want to create this digital sales room or remix this project, I'm going to leave a link in the description below to where you can get all the prompts that you would need to be able to prompt Lovable to be able to create this exact same sales room for your business. So if you want to create this for your sales team, click the link in the description below and start using Lovable to create your own digital sales room. Outside that, I'll see you guys next week in the next video. See y'all.